If God helps them who help themselves, which means our own effort is the more important one, then we might say, what about fate or destiny? And in Sanskrit, the word is called daiva. Not deva. Deva is the divine person, divine entity. Daiva is of the divine, which means something that is beyond you and that has happened. So we say that it's not in my destiny or I'm not destined to it. If everything is predestined, then is there any point of effort? That question is a very good question, very relevant question. So for this one, I want to take you to the other epic apart from the Mahabharata. The previous one was from Mahabharata. This one is from Ramayana. And Mahabharata and Ramayana are the two great epics that contain all the wisdom of the rishis and given through stories. So Ram is the heir prince to the greatest empire of its time, the kingdom of Ayodhya. Ayodhya. That means that which cannot be fought and won over. So Yuddha is a battle or a war. So that which you cannot fight and win is the Ayodhya. And the description of the city itself is wonderful in Ramayana. How it had 8 perimeters around the city. So nobody could actually come crossing 8 perimeters. So by the time you are crossed 3 or 4, people will take care of you. So Ram is the eldest among the 4 brothers and from the 3 wives of Emperor Dashrath. He is the ideal son, ideal prince, very smart, intelligent, extremely polite, handsome. He's God incarnate, right? So what flaw can there be? Now, in the morning, it is announced that Ram will be coronated tomorrow. So preparations have started for the celebration and, the whole city is being decorated. Everybody is happy and things like that. By the evening, it is that Rama has to go to exile away from settlements for 14 years. Change of plans. Tree bark instead of gold jewelry. So he has to leave away all the royal ways of living and has to live outside of settlements. This is very important to realize. Not just he has to go out of his kingdom, he has to be away from any settlement. And the reason for this condition put in was so that he cannot make any alliances with anybody and then come back later or whatever. It's a very popular one. Anyway, so why was this done? It was done at the behest of his stepmother's hunchback maid's advice. Right? It was any other place, that hunchback maid would have been killed, that queen would have been killed, and the prince would have taken the throne. Right? But Ram is not taking the throne. He is obviously willing to go to the forest. So Lakshmana, his brother, he says that the king, our father, has not done the right decision either as a king or as a father. He's under the influence of a woman, which is the youngest queen, and is unable to think properly, is unfit to be a king. So the Shastras say that any handicap if you have, you cannot be the king. And similarly, Dhritarashtra in Mahabharata was not allowed to be the king because he was born blind. Right? So similarly now, Lakshmana is saying that the king is under influence. He is not able to think independently or decide independently. So he should not be considered as the king and we don't have to follow his order. And he also says that these bow and arrows that I carry, these are not just for my decoration. They're not props, these are fully functional. If the entire state of Ayodhya, city of Ayodhya also opposes, I will handle them just myself. Don't worry. Take the throne. But for Ram, the throne of the multi-trillion-dollar empire, and I use that word loosely in the sense of it was the greatest empire of its time, that empire has no meaning compared to the family repute and keeping one's word. Right? Even at the face of obvious plot of his stepmother's hunchback maid. So he knew what is happening, why it is happening. He knew that very well. And still, he agreed to that. So what does Ram reply to Lakshmana? Yadachintyam tu taddaivam bhuteshvapi na hanyate vyaktam mayi cha tasyam cha patito hi viparjaya. Which means achintyam, that which cannot be thought about, that which cannot be imagined beforehand. So you're sitting and planning for something And in that plan, you will have different scenarios that what if this happens, then what will do, or what if that happens. And all this planning that you do, you try to visualize all the scenarios possible and try to have a plan A, B, C, or whatever. How will you handle this? How will you handle that? So something that is not chintya, achintyam, you could not have imagined in all your plannings. Bhuteshu api na hanyate. And when it comes, you cannot even nullify it. You cannot cancel it when it happens. That is daiva, right? And that has flipped for both me and Kekai. What flipped? That flipped her mindset, his stepmother, who asked for his exile, and my coronation. So both flipped, right? And Ram was somebody that everybody loved and everybody praised him. Nobody had a single complaint against him, not his the people in the city, not in the palace, not his stepmothers or his stepbrothers, nobody, right? So he was loved by everybody. Then what happened all of a sudden? Why it flipped, right? I was supposed to be coronated tomorrow. I'm not. And she used to love me so much, and now she's so dead against me. What happened here? So the first quality is it is beyond imagination. You cannot plan for it. Right? Kaschid daivena somitre yodham utsahate puman yasya na grahanam kinchit karmano anyatra drishyate. What it means? So he says, "Oh Somitra, Somitra is son of Sumitra, which is Lakshman." He says, "Who can fight that daiva? Yodham utsahate puman kaha puman." Which person can fight daiva? And what kind of daiva is that? That which we come to know only when the results of the karma become visible. Right? Without the results being visible of daiva, of the interference of daiva, you don't even know this is happening. Right? That is, we don't know of it at all beforehand. No way to feel it out, no signs. So there's no forewarning. There's no signs. If you see clouds, then you can say, "Oh, I think it might rain just in case, and I'll take an umbrella." But if it is clear sky, you go without that, and within 5 minutes there's rain. You could not have predicted it. Right? Something like that. Sukha dukkhe bhaya krodhau labha labhau bhava bhavau yaccha kinchit tatha bhutam nanu devasya karma tat. Which means sukha dukkha, joy, sorrow. Bhaya krodha, fear and anger. Labha alabha, gain or loss. And bhava and abhava is rise and fall and other such results. These are the consequences of fate, whose cause is not apparent at all. Okay, you don't know why they happened. That is the doing of daiva. Nanu daivasya karma tat. That is the doing of daiva. So all of a sudden some joy comes. Obviously joy, we don't complain, but all of a sudden some sorrow comes, we complain. Why this is happening to me? Why me only? Right? All of a sudden there is a fearful situation and you might say, why this is happening to me? You lose something big, then you complain, but when you gain something big, it's all yours. A lot of times people forget to remember the divine when good things happen. We only remember and complain when bad things happen. So all these things are the doing of the daiva. So unknown cause of unexpected results. Asankalpitam eve yadakasmat pravartate nivartyarambhamaram arabdham nanu devasya karma tat. Asankalpitam. That which is unanticipated and sudden, akasmat, sudden. Some situation befalls on us, unanticipated, and suddenly situation flips, just like it flipped for him, and puts hurdles in the efforts that we have started. So we've started some project and then all of a sudden, unexpectedly, something's happened and our efforts are not bearing results. That is the doing of daiva. This is Ram telling Lakshmana. So sudden, unanticipated hindrance to ongoing effort. These are the 4 characteristics of daiva. Etaya tattvaya buddhya संस्तभ्यात्मानम आत्मना vyahate apyabhisheke me paritapo na vidyate. So with this thinking about the 4 characteristics of daiva, with this thinking, I have myself stabilized my own mind. That is why I feel no sorrow even though my coronation is cancelled. I have no sorrow at all. So what is daiva? It is beyond imagination. You cannot plan for it. There is no forewarning, so you can't even react in time. It is an unknown and unexpected results come out, and it is sudden, unanticipated hindrances, right? So actually, it is the X factor. You cannot foresee. There is no foresign. You cannot control when it comes. It's beyond your control, right? So what is in your karma kshetra, that which you have control over, which is in your sphere of influence or impact, is not fate or destiny. It's your responsibility, right? So do not lessen efforts and blame fate, saying that, oh, if it was supposed to be, then I would have got it. But if it is not in my fate or I'm not destined, then it's not going to happen. No, destiny doesn't work instead of your efforts. So, effort is something you have to put. And the reason for this concept of daiva to bring in is that even after your best tries, you did your best possible, and then also you did not get results for whatever reason, then you should not feel disheartened or give up. That is the reason for the daiva. And it says that daiva is very powerful, which does not mean that destiny is powerful, which means that when the X factor happens, if it happens, you will have no control, because by definition, it is the unknown. So you should not worry about that, and just plan and do whatever you can within your control. So Tulasidas was a famous poet, a philosopher, and a devotee of Ram, and he retold the Valmiki story of Ramayana for his time and social sensibilities. And one of his shlok, which is very popular, very famous, Tulsi bharose Ram ke nirbhay hoke soe, honi to hoke rahe, anhoni na hoye. And this is not Sanskrit. He retold the story of Ram in the vernacular Avadhi. So what it means is that having faith in Ram, Tulsi or Tulsidas sleeps fearlessly. He has no fears, no worries in life. He sleeps sound, very sound, because he has faith in Ram. What has to happen, that will happen. And what cannot happen, will never happen. So why should I be worried, or why should I have any fear? But this is not a call for inaction, like, oh, I don't need to do anything. If I'm destined, I'll get the job. Otherwise, I'll not. But if you don't send the resume, if you don't prepare, if you don't go for the interview and all, no amount of fate can give you that job. The only thing that happens without you acting is you become an uncle or an aunt. You have to do nothing.